I'm afraid. I'm alone. I don't want you to see what's underneath this mask because I don't believe that you're going to love me. I don't feel like I belong. I feel like I'll be judged. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I make mistakes and I fail. I mess up. We all have a mask. And this mask is what protects that part of us from the world. Because if that part of us is seen by the world, then how could we be deserving of love, of connection? All of a sudden, our world becomes unsafe, it becomes insecure. And so we build a mask. These masks, most of the time, come from emotionally charged or emotionally traumatic events in our life, in our childhood. And it's how we deal with conflict in some unified way. Maybe you were told you were not creative. Maybe you were told that you weren't good enough and you believed it. Maybe you were a child with alcoholic parents, or maybe you moved around a lot, you suffered instability, insecurity, you weren't sure if this world was safe for you. And so you built this mask to protect you, to keep you safe, to keep you loved, to keep you connected. Survival, life or death. And so because we adapted to our environment, and because this became who we are, or who we were, we never took the mask off. We became adults, and we continued to wear the mask. And so this mask is how we think through the mask, we feel through the mask, we live through the mask. We make choices, business decisions, we communicate, we talk to our children through the mask. And so, how do we get rid of this mask? You have to see that you have a mask on. So this seeing is what I call awareness. So my journey into awareness started when I was an entrepreneur. I had a law firm, and my law firm started to take off. I was also a new mom, and I was dealing with a lot of stress. So I had to calm myself down for my baby and for my own sanity. Have you ever met a pregnant woman that was the calmest woman in the room? That was me, because I was meditating. I had started this incredible practice called meditation. And at first it was really just for stress benefits, it was for health, but then something started to occur that was completely unexpected. It was like a side effect. I started to see things. I started to see my own thoughts. I started to become aware of my own emotions, my feelings, my masks. And then all of a sudden, the world started to look differently, right? My perspective changed. I had monumental shifts. Now life wasn't happening to me, it was happening for me. I realized that I was no longer the creation, but I was actually the creator of my life. It was so empowering. And so of course I kept meditating. In fact, I became a Kundalini yoga instructor. I brought it all into the law firm. We were having spiritual sessions in my office and yoga in my receptionist in my foyer. Wow. It was beautiful and amazing, and the transformation was like, wow, so powerful. Not only was I transforming, but my staff, my leaders, and even people that weren't even practicing, my family, my husband, somehow they were all shifting too. That was when I realized the impact of this work. But I kept trucking along because I had a successful law firm and I had to stay, right? I had to. I invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars into my Esquire, into my status. I had studied 3.5 years of law. How could I just leave? So in 2013, when my law firm hit $3.5 million, I had been working my butt off for that. I thought, yes, finally, I had made it. I come first generation everything. My mother comes from poverty, so that was a big deal for us. I thought I'd made success, the money, the career, and then a mask showed up. What do you do when you think you've got it all, but you realize you don't have what you want? So 2 years later, because I stuck in it for 2 years, I had to. It was going to affect a lot of people. I had a staff of 40. I had a single mom who was a partner. She needed this. She was going through divorce. I was the breadwinner of my household. My husband had a nonprofit. And so it wasn't until my honeymoon, when I found myself in the middle of the ocean, that I realized something else. So my husband had been trying to get me to go up to the very top of the mountain. Actually, I did not realize how scared of heights I was, because every time we'd go up, it was like, the road was really tiny. It was rocks. I was like, hell no, we're not going up there. You can go up there yourself. And then the last day happened, and he's like, come on, it's our last day. We got to make it back to real life. You're not going to go up there? You're right. Fine, I'm going to go. So I made it up there. It was scary, but I made it up there. And when I got up there, oh my gosh, you could see the entire ocean, the vastness of life. You felt the majesty of the universe. The energy, it was perfection. That moment was made for me. And I thought, oh my God, I almost lost out on that because of fear. I almost lost out on that because I didn't realize that I had a mask. What else am I not seeing? And what dropped in that moment was a choice. I could choose to be happy, or I could choose to live a life to make others happy. And in that moment, I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice for my own happiness because I also knew that my daughter was watching. And by that point, I knew and I had learned the power of a parent and the power that we have as a role model and as a leader. And so I got back, and we made it down the hill. It's just as scary as on the way up. And I immediately got back. I had a conversation, and as unhappy as everybody was, I made the decision, and I left. And I ended up launching myself on a stage, and I was terrified of it, but I did it anyway. And I sold out my program, and years later I became a TEDx speaker, and I've had the beautiful gift of working with amazing companies and amazing people and individuals, and now I guide and empower leaders back to spiritual awareness and self-awareness and to purpose, and I could not be any happier or fulfilled. And so I am here to challenge you today to take off your mask, to take off your mask and to live. This life is meant to be felt, and you're meant to be loved. And so don't hold back. Don't hold back. Who's ready to take off their mask?